Let's just move you to here.
Your shit back.
Sorry, I just moved you in again. You have a merchant available, and you should probably use him.
Yes, I do.
And
Yeah, I literally just clicked that button for trade.
Can I give you a little hint that you should really put them in the English Channel, because you'll earn 10% more income then.
Yeah. Going. I'm just like coring and doing a bunch of other stuff, because I actually just purchased, it hasn't happened yet, but I actually just purchased the Cape off of Portugal.
Oh, interesting.
So Portugal, if you haven't noticed, has done the historical thing and exodus to Brazil.
Yep.
So I bought Cape Verde. I also bought Saint Helena, and then I bought his Cape provinces for 1,500. So
interesting.
As soon as that finishes coring, I'm getting Saint Helena, and then he's going to start the Cape stuff as soon as that's scored.
Cool. So the Dutch expansion is finally beginning.
Yes, you as I pointed out, I'm not gonna get like overseas stuff by colonizing. I have to do it through diplomacy, money, and so that's what's happening.
Cool. That's definitely something that you should have in spades. The money, anyway.
Yeah. I like to point out that there are 79 ducats in the English Channel node. I'm earning 76%, 76 ducats. Britain is earning 38, and France is earning 22, because that's how math works.
Yeah, that's why I was saying that you want to have the merchant there, because that gives you the extra 10% trade efficiency.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just pointing out that the total of the total trade value of the node is 70.
Yeah,
but the actual money being pulled out is like 120.
Yep.
Because math.
Yeah, math and also Dutch economics. Dutch economics. Oh. Trying to create a word there and it doesn't really work.
Dutchonomics.
Yes, Dutchonomics. There you go. Cool.
Hey,
well, I'll let you go back. Thanks for that.
Yep.
Okay, so that was the Dutch player coming in. Well, actually being pulled in, because I hate inefficiency with trade, especially Dutch trade. Great power list. Yes, we can absolutely do that. In first place, we have got Hindustan. In second place, we have the Ottomans. In third place, we have got Iran, though they will be in second when they can get their institution. Then in fourth place, we've got Russia. Fifth place, Andalusia. Sixth place, we have got the Timurids. Seventh place, the Mamluks. And then eighth place, Austria. Although once Texas have their institution, I think that they will actually jump into the top and probably push Austria out, because I think Texas actually has like 1,000. Oh no, 900. But that's still more than the top 6, so yeah, they'll be the new 6th greatest power. Brazil. Let's take a look at Brazil and their situation, because this is a country I do not know much about. Brazilian ideas. Attrition for enemies, +1. Hello.
Hello. We have a rule break.
Okay.
I believe, if I remember rightly, no CB wars are against the rules?
No, you can do no CBs, because you're paying the stability.
Oh, I thought no CBs were banned.
Nope.
Oh.
No CBs are allowed, so are...
It's truce breaks that aren't allowed.
Nope, they're allowed too. Because there's some pretty draconian effects already in the game, so they're allowed.
Ah. Okay, I've got the rules wrong.
That's all right.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. So yeah, because you take such a big hit to stability if you do truce break, or if you do no CB, you're allowed to. Other players will take notice, of course, especially with truce breaks. Like that's the thing which players will be like, don't like that. Or at least they should. If I was a player, I'd certainly be like that. Does diplomacy mean nothing to you? Anyway, Brazil ideas. Attrition for enemies, +1. They have envoy travel time, -25%, which is a bit meh. They have national tax modifier of +10%. They have institution spread of +10. Yearly inflation reduction of 0.1, which they're going to need, because I believe that Brazil has a fair amount of gold. They do. They have infantry combat +10, which will go nicely with their quality ideas. They've got core creation -15, so they'll be able to expand through conquest pretty quickly. Stability modifier -10, legitimacy +1, and then they finish off with a goods produced modifier of +10%. It's an alright set of ideas. I wouldn't say they're particularly great, though. The attrition, infantry combat, inflation reduction, and goods produced are I would say, the highlights. The rest of them are a bit... I know a lot of people really like core creation cost. I find it a bit... especially if you're a colonial who're going to be doing most of your expansion, most likely through coring. Through colonization. Speaking of which, yes, they do have 3 settlers. They should be able to colonize really quite quickly. Although I guess if you're going up against other colonial powers in the Americas or against native tribes, then you probably do want to have the core creation cost reduction. And it looks like Brazil is taking over a lot of Portugal's old stuff. Portugal now being a vassal. I wonder what the requirements for that are. Hello, can I have a moment of your time? I'm here to spread the word of Billy! 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 And it looks like a lot of people are jumping into that. Same continent colonizing does mean making core, so it's an alright idea for that. Does it? Really? I thought same continent made them a core automatically because you couldn't turn them into a trade post. Or a trade company. Although that is one change which I'm very excited to see the real effects of. The fact that the entire world, every single trade node, is now a trade company. As of the next update. Which means that merchant republics are a lot stronger. Because they've dropped the size limitations for merchant republics, but made it so that they... having a core, or having more territories will cost you more money, basically. There's now an upkeep cost for having states. And that upkeep cost can be reduced by courthouses. So there's a real reason to start building courthouses. They are now actually a useful building, probably. Merchant Republic core states cost more money, but trade company provinces cost less. So for a Merchant Republic, you could have lots of trade company provinces all over the world and it won't cost you a huge amount. You just won't have very much core manpower or core tax income, but you'll have a lot of trade income and production income. And also massive naval capacity, because they still provide naval force limit. I like that change. It's a good change. And they're adding a few trade nodes, Valencia and Pest, from what I saw and heard. Yes. So Genoa and Sevilla, I think, are being broken up a little bit. Genoa definitely is. Like, Genoa already is kind of gargantuan. I kind of like it this way, because it means that there's a lot of competition over the Genoa trade node, and because this is like the most important in the game, or the most powerful in the game, it makes sense that there's a lot of competition over it. So I'm a little bit in two minds about Valencia being broken into a second one. We'll see how that affects things. Because I actually quite like how it's set up at the moment. Sorry, I just need to respond to this. And I want to just double check that myself. Make sure I'm not getting the rules wrong. I'm pretty sure I'm not. In that instance, at least. Oh man, there's a lot of scrolling. You can't get pins on mobile. Oh yes, you can. Immunity, protection, unconditional surrender, speed, no stream sniping, nation ruining, substitutions, alliances. Yeah, there's no rules about no CBs and truce breaking. I think making Sicily a separate node would be a better move. Yeah, possibly. Like Sicily, Sardinia, maybe put it into the Tunis node. Although that would give Italian powers a lot of ability to move trade into Genoa. Or you could just do the Mediterranean node. Although, what would that feed into? Probably Constantinople, Venice. In fact, the Mediterranean node could be something which just feeds into Constantinople, Ragusa, Venice, Genoa, and maybe Sevilla, maybe Tunis. And it would be like the Balearics, it would be Sardinia, Corsica, Sicily, Crete, and Cyprus. I don't know. I would need to sit down and think about that a little bit more. Alright, so we've got the Spanish going after Tortuga. No! My pirates! They're fighting the pirates! However, Tortuga has actually taken over the entirety of Cuba, which I am enjoying. Who else are they fighting? This is just... Yeah, Tortuga and New Providence. So the pirates have ganged up against the Spanish colonies. Now, I think that this has basically brought Spain in because they were doing so much damage to the colonies. Also, it should be noted that Tortuga is a victory province, so it's in Spain's favour to make sure they keep that. But leave New Providence alone! Although New Providence will be remorselessly raiding all of this stuff, and this is all Spanish turf, so they would by far and away be the most affected by the pirates. But this is also where the pirates need to start with a modern navy. Like, the fact that their ships are just cogs, or, what are the big ones called? Carracks? Yeah, carracks. Means that they just get decimated at this point in the game. Bark, 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 brig. In fact, if we just go over to New Providence, I want to take a look at their ships. Early carracks. See what I mean? They're awful. Especially when you consider that the most modern shipbuilding right now are galleons. They're so out of date. Tier 3 ships in a Tier 15 era. This is one of the reasons that pirate republics in the Caribbean just don't last. Because they spawn with a fair number of ships. They spawn with a fair number of troops. They're just not high enough quality. Genoa is being split, and Hungary is also being added, mostly the Vienna node. Aha. Yeah. I think it's Ragusa. Ragusa and Vienna, which is being split for Hungary. I know that they've, like, published the routings now. I just don't remember what they are. That is crazy, like I-4 ships with Tier 1 engines and new hulls. Yep. Although in that instance I kind of get it. Because you can just upgrade them. Whereas ship upgrades in this are freaking expensive. Sorry, I need to keep an eye on my moderator chat. Okay, cool. Poet's making sure that he's got a up-to-date copy of the rules. Seeing as he is supposed to be the rules enforcer. And he was doing a good job, he just got that one wrong. That is so helpful having someone in the background just dealing with that stuff, so I don't have to. There is nothing more awkward than a rule dispute coming up live on stream, and then players coming in trying to be defensive. It's like, not now. And this is why all of the punishments had to be retroactive rather than at the time. Now we can have a moderator going through saying, you're in danger of breaking this rule, or you've just broken it, please change. And it's just so helpful having that going on at the time of the infraction. And things run a lot smoother. Like, I've had no drama this week. It's been amazing. No drama. Ah, it's good. So good. Like, that's the real downside for running these really big multiplayers. Is the drama. It's just like, I don't want to deal with this. It's not my job. It's not in the job description. Is that the run China policy in action? That's awful and also brilliant. Nope, that war is still going on. Starting to retake. That's not Havana. Yes, it is. No, it's not. That's Havana. Guan. Arumba used to sell his outdated ships to the AI. Yeah, unfortunately the AI doesn't sell them either. And, like, considering these are new nations which spawn, they really need the newest ships. Especially as they are pirate republics. Like, how are they going to pirate stuff if they got old ships? It's like trying to attack galleons with ballistas on your boats. Or even worse, ramming. It's like trying to take down a modern ship of the line. Well, not modern. Modern in this instance, ship of the line with a trireme. Might as well be. Looks like the British are getting some more rebels. This time Catholic zealots. England, of course, or Britain still being Anglican. In fact, Anglican has started to spread across seas. I did not realise it could do that. Have the Centres of Reformation gone? Yeah, they must have. I think they disappear in the Age of Absolutism. So how these got Anglicanism, I'm not sure. Does that mean that the Netherlands could embrace it? No. They would need to let rebels rise and then force convert. I think once the capital has been converted, then you can convert to it. Is that how it works? I've never actually done rebel conversion of religions. So if someone wishes to enlighten me, then please do tell me. Britain had a Troyes and Calais. That's what it would be. You're right. But yeah, it does look like the Centres of Reformation have now ceased their converting. Austria can breathe a sigh of relief. Milan can breathe a sigh of relief. Remember, Milan was 100% converted by everything except Catholic. And Spain still has problems. Is Spain actually converting? Because they have been... No, they're not. And they're sitting on their 54% religious unity. That's a mistake. Especially with a -3 tolerance of heretics. That means that all of those provinces which have been converted are super unproductive. Like, Spain absolutely needs to be converting this stuff. Because right now they're losing plus 3.7 unrest, 30% reduction to goods produced, and a 30% reduction to tax modifier. That's enormous. Especially when it's a place like Toledo, which should be a major cash cow. Because, one, it's highly developed, and two, it produces iron. There's glass. Also reformed. Yeah, Spain is losing so much more money because of this. They really need to get on and convert this. They have a missionary not doing anything. They also have 4 colonists not doing anything. Spain, what are you doing? You've lost your way. You were doing so well. Like, what are you doing? Poet's having a word with Spain right now, so maybe relaying that? I don't know. We'll see. Or else Spain is telling them something about the war against the pirates. That's also possible. Or switch to an actually useful religion. Actually, I disagree with that. So, because there are so few Catholics in the world, Catholicism is now very, very powerful, simply because you will have a lot of cardinals in your country, and cardinals are really quite powerful. And because you have a lot of cardinals, you produce a lot of papal influence, which means you can trigger these a lot more quickly. And Spain is the Curia controller. Sweden is the Curia controller, which means stability modifier reduction, diplomats +1, yearly prestige +1, advisor costs -20. That's huge. Possible advisors +2, and then tech costs -5. And then also leader upkeep and aggressive expansion. Being the Curia controller is enormous. Brazil, fellow.
Our Inca player is going to have to go, so he's set these AI up, and the country's just going to be AI run. Does that mean it's protected?
Yes, they are protected for the rest of the session.
I'll go and pass the message around, people.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, so call to arms. Your faithful nation of Brazil is requesting you come to their aid in the Dutch-Brazilian colonial war against the Netherlands. The Netherlands allied to the Ottomans, Prussia, and Austria. Interesting, though they've not called anyone in. This is against Brazil. This might be Brazil giving their provinces to the Dutch. This might well be intended. Yeah, I think that this is just a province transfer. I don't think this is an actual war. Because Brazil has been selling provinces down here, for example, in the Cape. Meanwhile, the Spanish war against the pirates continues. They are now trying to besiege the Bahamas, having a bit of a holiday while they're at it. Lovely area, the Bahamas. very much like to revisit the Caribbean. Actually, it's a really nice area. France is in the war, Brazil's in the war, Netherlands in the war, Spain's in the war. I think that's just the Spanish alliance chain kicking in. And there we go, peace has been made. And I'm guessing, yeah, boom. South Africa is now rightfully Dutch again. The Boers have won. Meanwhile, Russia, are you doing your Siberian expansion? Of course you are. Yeah, all of these are being colonized at the same time, thanks to the Siberian expansion ability that the Russians have. So if we flip over to the Russians, they have a great big button up here which appears. A frontier can only be established next to a city we own and that we can trace back to the capital.